At one particular time, I did talk about I did say Terence Crawford.
Okay.
Now, but what are we rating these fighters on? What are we rating these fighters on?
Floyd Mayweather's eyeball test.
That works for
You're
me.
eyeballing these guys. You watch Terence Crawford. You know why he has a problem getting the other welterweights in the ring with him.
So if he was pound for pound, Floyd was pound for pound. You or Floyd, who would have done that? Who would have won that?
Me.
Because I think Floyd at his best was a better defensive fighter than Crawford. Crawford's a better offensive fighter, but in those kind of matchups, I think defense usually...
Floyd Mayweather just fired back at Terence Crawford during a live interview, insisting he doesn't belong anywhere near the pound-for-pound list. But then Stephen A. Smith stepped in with the complete opposite view, boldly calling Crawford the best fighter alive, the rightful pound-for-pound king. And the truth is, Crawford already backed it up in the four-belt era, cementing his place as the undisputed world champion.
Is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt...
Moreover, Oscar La Hoya revealed that Floyd Mayweather was the greatest trainer he had ever worked with. And if Mayweather were to step in against Terence Crawford, he claimed Floyd would revive his style, reinvent his game, and emerge as a new fighter, proving once again just how remarkable Mayweather truly is.
Floyd, for me, is the best trainer I've ever had in my life. He would revitalize his style. He would make him a new fighter. That's how.
However, Max Kellerman explained that at his very best, Floyd Mayweather stood as the superior defensive fighter when compared to Terence Crawford, while Crawford shined brighter on the offensive end. Yet in matchups built on contrasts like these, it's often defense that rises above and ultimately prevails over offense.
Floyd at his best was a better defensive fighter than Crawford. Crawford's a better offensive fighter, but in those kind of matchups, I think defense usually beats the offense.
Furthermore, Robert Garcia noted that while Terence Crawford etched his name in history by becoming undisputed in a rare prime-for-prime battle, his personal lean would still be toward Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao, though he continues to place Crawford securely among the all-time greats.
Mayweather never became undisputed. He's a 5-division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification, stuff like that. So I think when it comes to accomplishments, I think he's already done more. In a fight, I probably still pick Mayweather. Both in the prime, I would probably pick Mayweather to win. Just like I would probably pick Pacquiao to win, both in the prime.
Ooh, to beat Crawford.
Yeah, I think so.
Prime for prime? Nice.
Yeah. But is Crawford one of the greatest of all time? It's 100%.
Danny Garcia added that since Mayweather is nearly a decade older than Crawford, a true competitive fight just wouldn't make sense. Yet an exhibition clash between them would be electric, and honestly, a surprisingly fitting idea.
It'd be hard. I mean, they're not that separated in age, right?
I think Terence is 38. I think Floyd, I am not sure, he's either 10 years older or 12 years older. I don't know if he's 48 or 50.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get the best Floyd, so I don't think it makes sense. Exhibition
would be crazy, actually.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Exhibition would be crazy, actually.
Yeah, I think that'll make a lot of...
Errol Spence Jr. explained that Floyd Mayweather's brilliant ring tactics and legendary skills set elevate him to another level, which is exactly why he considers Floyd to be one of the greatest fighters in history.
Different because, Floyd's just different. I feel like he's the best fighter. I don't know about all time. He might be the best fighter all time. If not, he's close 2-3, and not by far. So it's just it's a little bit different things that Floyd does. And Floyd was a lot older when I sparred him, and it's just certain things that he does that that's really tricky. Like the guy we get in the clinch, he was like squeezing my nose, and I couldn't breathe and stuff like that. So it's just certain things that he do in there. Just veteran stuff, just veteran all-time type stuff he was doing in our part.
He also added that while a dream matchup between Crawford and Mayweather can only live in imagination, it is Floyd's psychological edge that sets him apart from everyone else, leaving him completely unmatched in that aspect.
Floyd would beat Crawford, would you think? I know that's just a fantasy matchup.
Man, I don't know.
I'm reaching,
I
you know.
don't get into all that.
Yeah.
I don't know who went out. Sugar Ray Robinson and Floyd.
You know.
I don't know, man.
But for Floyd was the best work, just like mental games, everything.
Oh, yeah, mentally, he by far, I feel like he's the best.
Coach Bernie stated that if Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford ever crossed paths in their primes, Floyd would rise on top by breaking Crawford down with razor-sharp jabs, crisp hooks, punishing body shots, and airtight defense, ultimately seizing control of the fight in the later rounds.
Just hypothetically speaking, just looking at, you know, two fighters, you got Floyd and you got Crawford in their prime. Who you picking?
Can we all give an opinion on that?
Yeah, you want to?
Yeah, I got an opinion on that too.
Coach Bell, what you think?
I'm listening to you, Rep.
Floyd versus a prime Mayweather. We can go Pretty Boy. We can go Money May versus Terence Crawford in his prime. Who we got?
I think Money May would have shut Crawford down. He would have bored him to sleep like he do these fighters.
Yeah.
He would have jabbed him, hooked him, stick him in the body. You know what I'm saying? And then when the fighters swing back, Floyd nowhere to be found. So mentally, they're draining.
Yeah.
And about the 6th or 7th round, that's when he started picking up, putting the combination together.
MMA analyst Luke Thomas observed that Terence Crawford's rise arrived later in his career, yet he sees him as one of the sharpest defensive fighters ever, armed with the ability to hunt down and shut out opponents no matter where they try to move inside the ring.
This is the problem with Bud's career, right? It bloomed kind of late. I find Bud to be as defensively sound as I've ever seen a fighter. He can find you. There's nowhere to hide with him.
Like Floyd, he has such control over the terms in there. It's just...
Ryan Clark said that Floyd Mayweather was the defining fighter of his generation, humiliating opponents with flawless technique and unshakable mental strength, ultimately standing as the true symbol of dominance throughout the 2000s.
Here's why I say that. Bud is extremely skilled, right? Yet not as skilled as Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather made people look foolish, right? And so if I had to say who's the greatest I've seen, and Bud said it right, the best of an era and the best of an era, it's Floyd. But when I watched Bud against Canelo, there was this extreme skill on display, and there was a level of crazy that's different. There was a level of, and Floyd's extremely tough. Go back to Shane Mosley and the 2 punches he landed early in the fight and the way that he embarrassed him. I'm not saying that Floyd's not tough, Floyd's not a bad man, but there was domination inside that ring we saw.
He went on to say that Terence Crawford has now displayed his own greatness by convincingly defeating stars such as Errol Spence and Canelo, proving not only his fearlessness, but also his elite skill.
There's no fear in him in the way that he's attacked, gaining notoriety. Bud's been the baddest man for 12 years, but no one gave him credit because he didn't go tell you he was the baddest man. He didn't market that. He just went out and fought and beat people and knocked people out. So he had to move up and take the bigger fights and the better fights. And he was Errol Spence. We realized just how great he was. Canelo cemented him on what is the two-headed monster that marks the greatest of the 2000s. Floyd Mayweather is on that, and Bud Crawford is right next to him. I don't think we have to pick on who's better. I think they both dominated their eras.
Max Kellerman added that while Floyd's resume may run deeper, Terence Crawford has proven an even greater willingness to face absolutely anyone who dares to stand in front of him.
Because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring them. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, then I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time.
Yes.
That makes a...
Jeff Mayweather pointed to Floyd Mayweather's triumph over young Canelo Alvarez as undeniable proof of Floyd's brilliance in the ring, while at the same time emphasizing the early promise Canelo displayed in his career.
Remember, Canelo at that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he took him, into deep waters. So.
What was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23? 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.
Well, if we look back, Canelo at that time lost by the slimmest of margins. Floyd took the win by majority decision. C.J. Ross even scored a draw, while the other two judges, of course, sided with Floyd. That was Mayweather at the peak of his powers against a very green Canelo with limited experience. Yet Floyd dragged him into deep waters. Canelo was what then? Barely 23, maybe 25. Still so young in the game, still learning, but already showing flashes of greatness.